Hey guys, some gamer dude here. So I was out and about recently and I found some Final Fantasy boosters on clearance. So I decided to pick them up and I thought, hey, I could make opening videos with these. So I'm just going to do small videos with 6 or 7 packs a piece because I actually like talking about the cards inside. Like most people are just like, card, ooh, rare card. The thing with these boosters, I checked it up, there's not actually much of value in set 4. That's what this one is, although you can't really tell it on the packaging. It's really small and blurred out by Cloud's hand. As far as characters I know are in this, I know it's got Final Fantasy 9, 6, well, obviously 7 Clouds on it. And I think there's a bit of 13. I've actually been replaying Final Fantasies recently. I've replayed 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 in recent memory. And, yeah, I've got a new appreciation for 9 this time around. I think it's because I gravitate towards the older games like 1 and 4 normally. So, let's just get started. As far as hopes to pull, as I said, there's not much of value in these. The best I'm probably going to pull is about how much these boosters cost, which is about $2 piece. So, I guess Final Fantasy 9 characters, and well, I'm pretty down on 6 now. I've replayed it. I could talk about that another time. If you want me to ever talk about Final Fantasy games, comment in the description. But yeah, I think 9, and I actually do like the 13 starter deck, the very first one that came out. So stuff for that, that'd be neat. So let's get started. This is a very Japanese style booster. Tear at the top. If there's any information on the back. Pack might contain 2 identical cards. That's interesting. 12 cards of 148. It's a fairly alright card set. That's one thing I do like about Final Fantasy. The Legend is the highest one. There's a decent chunk of them in the box. I think like 14 of 36 packs have them. So you get a full set. So you only need 3 boxes to play. It's much like Force of Will in that respect. I'm curious whether Heroes of the Rares. I'm curious if the rares are... We're doing the Bakugan thing where you get 2 when we call it a rare, or if they're true uncommons and you get 3. Is there any other information I should know on the bottom underneath this, or is it just... No, it's just Square Enix of Europe stuff and Square Enix of America stuff. Where is this actually printed, does it say? I'm curious, because made in Singapore. Okay. So there's a lot of printing facilities. I think that might mean this is printed by the same place that does Magic the Gathering, whose name is escaping me. I've heard Force of Will too. Well, was. So let's get started. Oh jeez, I don't really like these boosters. Okay, so let's see. We get a Sage if we focus. Put Sage in. Actually, I think I was using this in a deck recently. Put Sage into the break zone, which means kill it. You have to pay 2 blue and tap it. Choose up to 2 of your opponent's forwards and freeze them, which is they can't stand up next turn. This is our comment, so we're going through the comments first. Red Mage. I'll go back a little bit further. See if we can focus a little bit better. Just when you turn on the light so it's a little easier to read for everyone. So, Red Mage, it's a 2-cost backup as well. Pay a red and tap it. Choose 1 forward during this turn. Damage dealt to it is increased by 1,000 instead. So it ups the amount of damage without being able to do it, but it also affects damaging effects, which is pretty neat. Samurai, so we're getting a lot of the standard units. Forward for 4, 8,000 power from Final Fantasy Tactics. If you ever receive 5 points of damage or more, I think that's just now damage 5. It gains plus 1,000 and Brave. Brave is the Sarah Angel effect. Vigilance. Jeez, so many games are different words for the things I can't remember. Now this is a new thing to Final Fantasy. Monsters. Monsters, I think, act a bit like enchantments. I've played with them a little bit, but I'm just not entirely solid on them yet. By that I mean I don't have enough experience with them. So it's a 2-cost water one. Dragon, of course, because it's a green dragon. Very interesting picture. I think that'd turn some people off, but I kind of like it. Pay 1 until end of turn, it becomes a 7,000 forward. Why not just play a forward? Okay, I guess because it's a 2 cost for 7,000. I guess that's the reason. These cards do still really feel nice. Bomb, which is another monster, put into the break zone, choose one forward, deal 5,000 damage to it. So it's the explosion effect from the actual games. Next up, Bran. There's a Final Fantasy 9 character, and it's a standard unit one. So that's interesting. Get a ton of those standard units, we can actually use Bran. She's got an EX effect. She's a backup for water, costs 3. When she enters the field, or EX burst, you may search for one standard unit forward and add it to your hand, which is pretty alright. Babus, I think this is all last uncommon. It's a forward with 5,000 power for 2. It's an ice one. When a forward opponent control attacks, there's words missing there. Your opponent controls attacks. Choose one forward opponent controls. If your opponent doesn't pay one, freeze it. Oh geez, that is really hard to read, guys. That is in English. I mean, it's not illegible, but it's got problems. It's actually not a bad card either. There's a card very similar to this in Magic the Gathering. It's a black one with ravens. I think it's when your opponent's creatures attack, they take damage. So foil was a hero card. I wonder if this is our only hero one. So this means it's a rare. Alexander, it's a... Wow, that's foiling is pretty. I remember when the old double rares in Vanguard used to look this, but this is much nicer. This is really reflective. It's very pretty. I see why the foils in this game are actually worth something. The foil is really, really stupendous. I really like it. So it's a 5-cost wind summon with EX burst. Choose one forward, 9,000 power or more. Break it. Not bad. I mean, you wouldn't use it from your hand, but if you got it as damage, hey, I just really love the foiling. This is amazing. I'd love to use this type of foiling in my own work. So let's see. The next one is our rare. So maybe all the what's it called? The hero cards, which I believe are the rares, are foil. I will see. So I've actually never opened a Final Fantasy booster before, just decks. So Nono. What is falling over? A box. Okay. 3 cost Nono. I don't remember this game because I didn't play. Did I play Final Fantasy Tactics Advance? I think I did. I actually do think I have that game. Backup, when a forward you control attacks, choose one backup you control activated. That's actually pretty nifty. It's not once per turn or anything. You can just keep doing it. That's actually seems pretty good. Bomb, which is another rare. So we've got 2 rares so far. We'll see how the packs work. 2 cost fire, pay fire. Until end of turn, bomb becomes a forward with 5,000 power, and put bomb into the break zone, deal 4,000 damage to all forwards. You can only use this ability once per turn. That's actually pretty nifty if they're just flooding the field with weenies. Just go bomb, and it literally blows them up. So we get 3 rares. That's what I want to see. That's good. That's aces. Why didn't I pick up this game before? That's actually a card I wanted, because I like Dragoons. I enjoyed playing that deck. I've got to upload that video. Or make a... No, I didn't record that. I'm going to have to make that video. I made a first build of a Dragoon deck and really enjoyed it. 3, the King of Bermesia. Backup, when it enters the field, search for one job Dragoon or card name Dragoon and add it to your hand. So it continues to replace itself. And this must be our rare on the back. And it's the same card. They were not joking about getting duplicates in the one pack, were they? Although, I think that's pretty nifty. That is pretty cool. So, I don't think Alexander's a bad card. So, next one. Let's try to... I actually like how these packs are done for openings. So, more standard units. Black belts. Is this 3, 5, or 1? 3. It's an earth one. It enters the battlefield. Choose one forward you control. It gains plus 5,000 power. So, that's actually really nifty for 2. The only problem is... Typically in Final Fantasy, I find you want to play a 2-cost forward turn 1, I mean backup turn 1. This can't facilitate that. It's a really late thing. And you'd have to cycle through backups to make this a useful card. It doesn't seem like a bad card though. Another Alexander, because apparently we like Alexander here. We're using the Pearl spells. Are you old enough to remember that? Actually, the But no, when I stopped playing Final Fantasy, I think we were already up to Era and Argo spells and Holy and whatnot. So this one's from Dissidia Final Fantasy. I believe that's what DFF means. Let's see. Alexander. Summon EX Burst. It's a win one. It costs 2. Select one of the 2 following actions. Choose one monster and break it. Choose one backup you control, activate it, and draw 1 card. Nice, versatile. I like that because not everyone would run monsters. It's got an alternate use. That's where I like modular. It's very, very specific. But it's got to cycle out if you don't need that specific. That's actually a pretty cool card design. I like that. Warrior, a forward for 1. Nifty, it's got 4,000 power. That's the girl from 3. I did not like 3. 3 is the only Final Fantasy from the main line up till 15. I haven't, well, other than the online games, I haven't actually finished. It's the only one I don't really care for. Out of the first 10 plus 12 plus... Yeah, I actually would say I prefer 13. Jeez. Archer, 2 cost. That's Fran's race, isn't it? Backup, 2 for win, that's good. Tap her and put her into the break zone. Choose 1 forward your opponent controls during this turn. The next damage it deals to a forward becomes their own. That's nifty. That's actually pretty nifty. Protects your forwards. It's not a great card, but it's nifty. I don't like how these cards stick together a little bit, but I think that's because they're much higher quality. Scholar, another backup. Red, put tap Scholar into the break zone. Choose up to 2 forwards your opponent controls. Deal 3,000 damage. That's actually, we came across a 1-drop recently. And say, how useful is that? That is not particularly useful. If forwards with a 1 cost 4,000 power, you have to use this in tandem with other things. Bomb would be alright, I guess. Chocobo, I actually wanted this card. It's I used the Chocobo deck recently. It's not bad. It's just, I got to get used to it. So it's a 3 cost 6,000 forward standard unit. When it enters the field, choose 1 forward other than Chocobo. It gains haste until the end of the turn. So you want to use this on something you've already summoned or brought out via Fat Chocobo, which is actually a legend I wouldn't mind pulling from this set. I do not remember Yalman. It's been a while since I played 13, so it's a 1-cost monster. Put him into the break zone, choose a forward, it gains first strike until end of turn, draw a card. That I like. Just pop him out. If you ever need him, pop him, and then you get the effect. First strike is actually really nifty in this game, although I've heard a few people say it's a crutch. So next up we have Hecaton Shear. I think that's how you pronounce it. Another from Final Fantasy 13. It's an uncommon, so a rare. Again, really, really pretty. Get a lot of that foil, guys. That is beautiful. That is actually foil, and I'll be like, yeah, I actually wouldn't mind the whole deck in foil. 2 cost summon, no EX burst this time. Choose 1 forward you control, 1 forward your opponent controls. Each forward deals damage equal to its power to the other. So it's a fight mechanic because fight is in Earth. That is really pretty. I really like that. Next up we have Wedge. I feel like I've said that card before. Might be in one of the starter decks, because I bought some of the starter decks recently. Backup, when he enters the field, search for 1 job Avalanche Operative forward and add it to your hand, which 3 for a backup. At least it replaces if you have to pay 2 cards from hand for it. Yeah, I don't know from Final Fantasy 14, I don't play online games. 4 cost win backup, Arun Senna, Seed Seer, whatever that is. When she enters, I think it's a girl, enters the field, you may search for 1 card name, Ka E Senna or Rayo E Senna, sorry, Raya O Senna, and add it to your hand. I'm sure if you're running those, it's a perfectly fine card. We haven't seen any 6 characters yet, have we? Ledna, again, not familiar with this. I played this game a very, very long time ago and didn't like it very much. Probably would like it more now because I do like tactical RPGs as an adult. I just didn't like them as a kid. So it's a forward with 5,000 power for 2. When it blocks or is blocked, if your opponent doesn't pay 2, she can't be broken this turn. At least I think it's a goal. When it's chosen by a summoner or an ability of your opponent, should be an S there. If your opponent doesn't pay 2, she can't be broken this turn. That's actually nifty. So on attacking, if they don't pay 2, they can't kill her off. That's a bit nifty. And our hero card, which is a rare again, is Mecha Chocobo, which is a lot of Final Fantasy. I did play that. It was alright. One of the better recent Final Fantasies. It's not a game I really love, though. Not something I think I'd go back to. 4 cost, iced forward with 7,000 power. Mecha Chocobo cannot be chosen by summons. When Mecha Chocobo attacks, choose 1 delve forward with 4 or less your opponent can. Of a cost of 4 or less your opponent controls, break it. When it's blocked, break Mecha Chocobo. So you need to kind of force your opponent into blocking and then go for the Jugular with Mecha Chocobo, who seems to have a Moogle on his belly. And you can start breaking their cards that they've tapped. Yep. So that was alright. I liked a few of the cards in there. It wasn't as good as the first packet, I reckon. So let's get to the next one. The classic monster Flan. So, Flan is a 1-cost ice monster. I do actually like the Theatrhythm Final Fantasy pictures. I think they've got character. Ice, tap it, search for 1 card named Flan and add it to your hand, because you can have multiple Flans out. That's what the icon up the top means. Tap, put Flan into the break zone. Your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. You don't have to put it his/her, you can just write there. You can only use this ability once during your turn. Which is alright. Mage's standard unit. This seems familiar. I think I had this in the Dragoon deck. When Mage's enters the field, choose 1 forward, deal it 7,000 power. If you have 5 or more standard units, deal it 9,000 damage instead, which is pretty nifty for 5. You're not going to fill up your backups really soon because of the way Final Fantasy works. And I apologise for the dog, she just wants to talk. But it's not a bad card. Sage. Tap, put Sage into the break zone, choose 1 forward your opponent controls. If it deals damage to a forward this turn, the damage increases by 2,000. Didn't we say this at the beginning? Seems familiar. I think we did. It's not a bad card. I like these ones that cycle through if you have entry ability ones. These ones can be set up for later things and then used and then bring out other things. Poo-poo! Oh god, a lot of people are going to really hate this art. But this is actual art from the City of Final Fantasy, and this is how it looks in Final Fantasy VIII. He's an alien in that game. Yeah, people who already do not like the art for Final Fantasy are going to start screeching about this. Yeah, expose, discard a card, then draw 2 cards. It's so close to Pot of Greed. It only costs 1. It's a summon for water. So it ends up becoming 2 for 2 if you play it from hand, or if you don't, it's a 1 for 2, which is pretty neat. Mages. 2 cost backup, tap it and put it into the break zone. Choose 1 active forward, deal it 4,000 damage. 2 cost backup, hard to go wrong. Ghoul from Final Fantasy Tactics. Monster, pay ice and a 1 and tap it and choose 1 forward, dull it, which means tap it, which decent to me. Pay 2, dull something. I like it. I like monsters. I think these enchantments are pretty cool. Goblin. The standard goblin, but I reckon they should get in for the Final Fantasy 1 art. It's like the first monster you fight in that game. So, it's a 1 cost earth monster. Put goblin into the break zone, choose 1 forward, it gets plus 2,000 power until end of turn. I think that's nifty. Yeah, we've already read Lednir. I do like getting uncommon and higher foils, but let's hope we get something good at the back. Marauder, a standard unit. It's for Final Fantasy 14. I don't know it. 2 for 1,000. It's got to be good. When it attacks, it becomes a 9,000. So your opponent has to attack it on your turn, which does keep your life. So essentially, it's a blocker in a way, I guess. That's nifty. I like how it diverts attention away. That is really cool. I like that. That's a design I really, really like. Gladiator, 2 cost backup for water. Blue and tap it. Put Gladiator into the break zone. Choose 1 job standard unit forward with 3 cost in your break zone. Play it onto the field. You can only use this once per turn. That's alright. Sid from World of Final Fantasy. I don't remember. It's a 2 cost ice backup. Can't be broken. Tap it. Put it into the break zone. Okay, so I guess you can pay it, break it as a cost, but it can't be broken via effects. I think that's what they mean. Choose 1 monster of cost 2, or so they mean with a cost of 2 or less in the break zone. Play it onto the field. You can only use this ability during your turn. And our final card. Hey, we got Fat Chocobo, our first legend. That's what I actually wanted for a deck. That is really, really cool. I'm happy. And I think I only wanted the one because I think that's what that build used. But when Fat Chocobo, it's a 5-cost wind backup, which means it's very, very late. But when it enters the field, you can search for one Job Chocobo or card name Chocobo with a cost of 3 or less. Play it onto the field. Tap, choose one Job Chocobo or one card name Chocobo. It gains plus 2,000 power until end of turn. That is nifty. Sorry, I had to try to get the dog to be quiet. So, third booster, we've got 2 more after this. I'm happy we got Fat Chocobo. That's actually a really good pull for me. Because I wouldn't mind making that Chocobo deck. So, let's see what we've got. Goblin. This is the Thatch Rhythm Goblin. It's in fire, costs 1. Put it into the break zone, choose one forward. You control, it gains haste until end of turn, draw 1 card. That's actually, if you just need to tap it and bring it out and just let it sit there until you want something to really attack, that's actually, I really, really do like the monsters. I think they're an actual cool addition to the game. I think this actually might be the set they came out in. So 2 for Cleone. It's a water monster. When either player casts a summon, kill it. Well, kill this card, put it into the break zone. If you do, cancel the summon's effect. When it's put into the field, from the field into the break zone, draw 1 card. And it's a vermin. That's good to know. It's from Final Fantasy 13. Yeah, no, don't remember that well. But it's not a bad card. I like it. Mime from Final Fantasy Tactics, which is an interesting looking card. Forward with 4,000 power for 2. It's water. Pay 1. Its power becomes the same as your opponent's weakest forward. So end of turn. Oh, that's... I'd hope Go-Go is a much better version of this card. Dragon, just generic dragon from Final Fantasy Tactics. 2-cost lightning monster. It's a dragon. Lightning, put dragon into the break zone, choose one monster with 4 or less cost and break it. Lightning and 1, put dragon into the break zone, choose one forward of cost of 4 or less and break it. Again, just dive it out there to kill things. Thief, 1-cost wind forward. When Thief leaves the field, your opponent puts the top card of his or her deck into the break zone. I didn't think mill existed in this game. And actually, given you're drawing two cards a turn, and damages, from the deck, and it's a 5-card turn, and mill could actually be fairly decent. And if you can recur this, and there's better mill than this, that seems like a decent game plan. Geomancer. It's a 2-cost earth backup. You pay 1 and earth, tap it, choose one forward, it gains brave until end of turn. That's actually not bad. So this game, everything can only attack once. You cannot stand, attack, like say Force of Will, which does balance it out. But it does keep your opponent from attacking, because attacking creatures in Final Fantasy is actually a fairly good strategy. Arithmetician. He does arithmetic. He's a 4-cost ice backup. When he enters the field, select one number. Dull and freeze all forwards of that cost. Interesting. That's actually pretty cool. I kind of like it. It's an interesting design. Leviathan. Another rare. So we keep getting the uncommons as foils. And are getting a lot of summons. Wow, that is genuinely pretty though. I really love... You guys can't even appreciate on the camera how pretty these foils are. So it's a 3-cost water summon. EX burst, choose one forward you control and one forward your opponent controls. Return them to their owner's hand. Which, if you want to reuse enter abilities, that's pretty nifty. It's like unsummoned, but... Oh, there's one of those cards that other card referred to, Rayo Sana. So it might be a budget deck, I don't know. Budget Final Fantasy... thing I deck. And I just realised I don't have the light on now. Oh yeah, I do. Just looks darker in the camera than in real life. When it enters the field... when you are... Raya Osena, a 2-cost wind backup. When a Rubu Senna and Khan East Senna you control cannot be chosen by your opponent's abilities. I misread that. But she basically gives the other two Hexproof. Sure, right. Garland, he will knock you down. 6 cost, well, that's a bit costly. 9,000 power, I reckon that's worth it. Kind of get up to 8,000 power fairly easily, though. When Garland enters the field, you knock something, no. You may play 1 fire backup with a cost of 3 or less from your hand to the field, dull. That is nifty. That is genuinely nifty. Especially with those ones that when they come out, they give you haste. So you can just Garland, haste. Great. Nashu, okay. I didn't know that Final Fantasy XIV had Catgirls. It's a lightning backup for 2. The card named Hildebrand you control gains haste. Was wonderful to see that. Tap, choose 1 card named Hildebrand you control, gains plus 2,000 power until end of turn. Okay. Hey, a Final Fantasy 6 character, Strago. I don't know if I'd actually use that. I'm not big. His granddaughter's kind of better because of a high magic battler stats. Give her a Tritalk and just go at it. Especially if you give her Flare and all the other cool spells from the end of the game. So, it's a 3 cost water forward with 6,000 power. EX Burst. Choose 1 forward or monster your opponent controls. If you control a category 6 forward other than Strago, return it to its owner's hand. So if you have another one, he gets an on-summon bounce effect. And Grand Delta, which is his final blue spell from the game, you have to discard a Strago, play blue, and tap it. Divide 12,000 damage equally among all forwards your opponent controls. Must be rounded up to the nearest 1,000. It's got some uses, but you have to clear the field of other things to make sure you get the right amounts. So we've got 1 legend of 4 packs. I think that's how much we've gone through. So let's hope we get another legend. Let's hope we get a legend in foil. I don't think Chocobo is the most expensive card, but at least it's a decent pull. At least I think so. 2 cost Mystic. Backup. Tap, put Mystic into the break zone. Choose 1 forward. It loses 1,000 power until end of turn. Is that really enough power? I guess 1,000 power can make all the difference. It can get you into kill each other range or kill the other guy range. Another Flan. I don't mind that. Black Mage from Final Fantasy Tactics. 4 cost fire backup. When it enters the field, choose 2 forwards, deal them 5,000 damage, which isn't bad for 4 cost. Black Mage, again, but this time in ice. It's a backup for 2. I think we might have already seen this one. Tap it, put it into the break zone, choose 1 dull for it, deal it 4,000 damage. Now, if I remember correctly, you dull when you attack, so you can kind of sack 2 cards to kill one of their cards if you block it, which is nifty. Babus, we've seen that, and I didn't think it was a bad card. Bran, we've seen it, and I didn't think it was a bad card. Dragoon, that's something I want. So, Dragoon is a 3 cost lightning forward with 6,000 power. You can pay lightning and it gains plus 2,000 power until end of turn, and you can only use it once per turn. Foil is a common for the first time, Geomancer, and yeah, we've actually seen this one, but it's a nice card in foil. It looks much nicer. The pictures really pop with the foiling because they're not foiled and it's different texture. Pugilist. It's a 2 cost 5,000 forward with Earth. For each job standard unit forward other than Pugilist you control, it gains plus 2,000 power, which could build up really easily. That's actually pretty nifty. I'm not sure if it's viable, but it's nifty. Cobbledroid Yin, which is from Final Fantasy 13. Again, I don't remember because I played this game a long time ago. Did play it twice though. 1 monster, and it's wind, and you pay a wind until end of turn. It becomes a 3,000 power forward, and it cannot be blocked by forwards with a cost of 3 or more, which is pretty nifty. Black Waltz 3. So this is like our second 9 card. When Waltz 3 enters the field, choose 1 forward. It loses 2,000 power until end of turn. When it is put from the field into the break zone, choose 1 forward. It loses 2,000 power until end of turn. It's 3 cost lightning forward for 6,000. Okay. Moogle, which is a hero card, which means it's a rare. Track it not centered. When it's the field, draw a card. When it's put into the break zone, draw a card. 6,000 power, 4 cost forward. Very, very boring card. I'm sure it's fine, but it's a bit on the boring side. Now I've seen a lot of the commons, we can start getting through this a bit quicker. Hey, Shiva from Final Fantasy 13. I think one of the first decks is part ice, so that's pretty nifty. Choose one dull forward. Oh, sorry, it's a 2-cost ice 7. EX burst, choose one dull forward, 6,000 power. Then 1,000 power for each card named Shiva in your break zone. So if you use a lot of Shiva spells, she can get up there. She can kill a lot of things for only 2. I think she's neat. Because the rule states you can't have them on the field if they don't have the card icon up the top. Not you can't have them in the deck at all. And you can use them. Usher from Final Fantasy 7. He might be from Dirge of Cerberus because I don't recognise him. He's a 3-cost Lightning Deep Ground Soldier backup. EX burst when it enters the field. You may search for one card named DGS Trooper First Class or card named Deep Ground Soldier and add it to your hand. That, I believe, is the those swarmy blue standard units. So it might make a lightning blue swarmy standard unit card attack. Lightning ice or water, I forget which one it is. So 2-cost backup Bard, ice, tap it and play ice. Put Bard into the break zone, choose one forward and dull it. It's alright for getting threats out of the way, I guess. Black Mage, already seen it. Bard. I don't think we've seen this. 2-cost ice, pay 4, which has to be 2 ice. Put Bard into the break zone. Your opponent discards 2 cards from their hand. You can only use this ability once per turn. You're nuking out the last 2 cards from the hand. That's actually not bad at all. Viking, 3-cost forward with 2,000 power, so it's easy to kill. When enters the field, draw a card. When it leaves, draw the card. So it's basically that Moogle, except as a common. I think we could have told it was a junk rare. Zack from Final Fantasy 7. 3-cost EX burst backup. When it enters the field, choose one card named Cloud or Job Soldier in your break zone. Add it to your hand. I don't think that's bad. Foil is that Hildebrand guy the other card was talking about. And it's a hero. So we got 2 rares this pack. At least we got one. We don't know if the other card's a legend. So, he's a guy. 3-cost lightning backup. Forward with 7,000 power. And this is how Final Fantasy does small text. They seem to make it a little bit smudgier. They bring it together a little bit more. Because as you can tell with the other cards, the font's a bit bigger and a little bit separated. So, if it leaves the field due to your opponent's summons or abilities, return to your hand instead. Hildebrand does not return to your hand if he receives damage higher than his power or his power is reduced to 0. So if something just breaks him, then you get it. And Mandeville Dance. It's a special one, so you have to discard another copy of him. Hope there's other cards of his name in the game. Pay Lightning, draw the top card of your deck. If it's a forward, play it on the field dull. If not, put into the break zone. That might actually be really a little OP. Well, I don't know how viable it is, but it seems quite strong. At least by itself. So, Marlborough. This is our first rare, so it's our first uncommon. I'm really getting tired of uncommons being called rares, but never mind. Water Monster for 3. Pay 1, it becomes a 6,000 forward. And when it blocks or is blocked, all forwards your opponent control lose 2,000 power until end of turn. So it basically does the bad breath thing. It's alright. Remedy from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. She is a queen forward of ice with 7,000 power. If you control card name Sid Randall, Remedy gains plus 1,000 power. When your opponent plays a character onto the field, other than from his or her hand, so if it's from the break zone or the deck, if your opponent doesn't pay 2, break it. That's actually good for stopping people who cheat things out. Magic could use cards like that. Hecaton Shear, we already looked at that. And Hildebrand was our rare as well. They were not kidding with you seeing the same card multiple times. So that was our first video. I'm going to be spreading this over 4 videos because I actually like talking about the cards. So thanks for watching, and I'll be putting these up every time I put a card of the card I like episode up, so these get spread out a bit more. Anyway, this has been Some Gamer Dude, and thanks for watching.